faculty member here, and that is Dr.Jess and Dr.Chad Sweeney, those two fantastic colleagues of mine. So I'd like to briefly introduce to you both of our speakers. Dr.Jess is a researcher of disability inclusion, public relations, and teacher education as a full-time faculty member at CSUSB in the Department of Communication Studies. Currently, Dr. Nerren is on special assignment as the Faculty Inclusion Fellow for Disability Difference and Accommodation at CSUSB, and that's why she's here today. Previously, she served as interim faculty director of the Services to Students with Disabilities Office, where she oversaw accommodations for over 2,000 students attending the university. She is the editor and contributing author of the scholarly book, Rethinking Perception and Centering the Voices of Unique Individuals, Reframing Autism Inclusion in Praxis. Dr. Nerren is the founder of Coyote PR, the student-run PR agency on campus. In that role, she led a team of students to win the PRSA Inland Empire Flores Capella Award for Excellence in PR Tactics in 2019. She has sourced over $90,000 in internal and external funding for the benefit of her students and for the development of an important research agenda on inclusion in many forms. And she is chair of the SSD Community Advisory Board at CSUSB. Dr.Chad Sweeney is a full professor of English and creative writing in his 12th year of teaching at CSUSB. He has published 10 full-length books of poetry, prose, and translations from Spanish and Farsi, and 6 chapbooks. His work has been included in Best American Poetry, the Pushcart Prize Anthology, Poets and Writers, and the Academy of American Poets. His lyric essay entitled Tiny Disasters, Confessions of an Autistic Professor appeared as chapter 2 in the book that was co-edited by Dr.Jess, which I mentioned earlier. And he's currently working on a book-length coming-of-age autism memoir, which explores personal experience in dialogue with disability theory and linguistics. So I hope you can join me in welcoming both of them for this very, very special talk and workshop.
Thank you, amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Algan. It's up to you. Yeah. Oh, it's all good. I have it here too. So, hey everyone, I'm Jess. Chad, we're going to talk to you today a little bit about accommodation letters. So we all get accommodation letters, and they honestly sometimes can feel like a bit of a mystery. So we're here to demystify them a little bit. And honestly, if there's only one thing that we hope that you take away from this, is that there are friendly faces among your faculty colleagues that are here in support and collaboration of your efforts. Right. If you don't listen to another word we say, but you leave, and when you have a question, you know you can talk to us, then we did our job up here. So just to get everyone started, whether you're online or in person, this is set up to be a 2-screen experience. We love when you have your phones or tablets or laptops out, because we're going to ask you questions and we're going to kind of crowdsource a little bit of information. So you can point at the QR code, you can go to menti.com and then put in that code there. And then even once we leave the screen, there'll always be the information here at the top. In addition, I see that folks are joining. That's great. I will also drop this into chat. I want to make sure that folks online can hear us. I think as they were troubleshooting, things are muted, but as long as folks, okay, I'm seeing thumbs. So we should be good, but if you're not good, please drop that into chat and we'll be watching for it. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping. So welcome. We're really, really happy to be here, and just know that you can drop in anonymous questions at any point in time too, and we'll weave it into what we're talking about already. So what are we doing? Dr. Alman just gave us an amazing introduction, so our introductions of ourselves are gonna be short. We're gonna start in reverse, why all this matters, right? And then we're gonna define our terms a little bit. We're gonna talk about accommodations. We're gonna talk about talking with students, resource you, and have a whole bunch of time for Q&A. All righty. So Dr. Chad is amazing. I'm a Dr. Chad super fan, so please go ahead and tell us a little bit.
The slide makes me feel self-conscious. Who is Chad? Well, my name is Chad Sweeney. So a lot of times in emails, you'll see me as John. I have autism and I'm a professor, and having autism has really shaped my life in every possible way, good and bad. I'm really interested in doing this kind of work. First, I came to it because of my own need to understand myself. And the more I came to understand myself and autism and other autistics, the more I understood the difficulties of our autistic students in classrooms. And I kept expanding into research and learning more and more about all disabilities and the work of disability, the history of disability, the theory of disability. So I'm in a fast learning curve. I'm a professor, but I do a lot now to learn and grow. And one thing I wanted to share with you today is parallels to the history of racism. I think this is a useful comparison that helps me understand where things are a little bit. In racism, there are you could think of this as two types of racism: segregationism or assimilationism. And segregationism looks like slavery, it looks like Hitler, it looks like separating drinking fountains and bathrooms. The theory of segregationism is that the other race, whoever that happens to be in whichever country at the time, in European racism, it's BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, experience this kind of racism heavily. It's about the idea is that the person can never be equal to a white person and therefore must be separated out. And Hitler was killing people, and American policies was doing all kinds of other things and still does. Assimilationism is another form of racism that sometimes looks like it has goodwill. Assimilationism says a person of color can be good enough if they learn to assimilate into white culture. And only then should they have rights, equality, and connection and belonging. And assimilationism looks like all kinds of things. It looks like missionizing people in Africa, or certain kinds of programs that are designed to assimilate, to Americanize, to make English the only language spoken in America, to make Native Americans cut their hair and lose their religions, to become Christian, that sort of thing. So assimilation is also quite ugly, but probably even more prominent. But there's a third way, which is anti-racism entirely, which says people of color are equal now, without any changes, automatically equal, deserving and belonging of full rights, full welcome. And I am an anti-racist, and this is the kind of movement that I'm really dedicated to and feel is a big part of this DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion work. And it's easy to accidentally fall into an assimilationist camp without realizing it. To think that if we change the behaviors of people of color, then they can become equal to white people. That's assimilationist racism. So in disabilities, they're the same history happening. There are segregationists who think we should separate people with disabilities out, put them in a separate classroom, put them off to the side somewhere, get them out of sight, hide them. And again, Hitler was one of these. Some of the first people killed were people with disabilities and autistics in Germany and surrounding countries. And then there's assimilationism, which says people with disabilities can become equal if we cure them or lift them or help them to assimilate. If they become good enough to function fully in all ways, then they become worthy of inclusion, welcome, and full rights. And that's also a form of ableism. So these are two forms of ableism, but there's a third way, which is anti-ableism, or what we're trying to do is say that people with disabilities belong now, right now. They don't have to be any different or any better. We don't have to be any different or any better. We can be as we are and equal and worthy to be among the family of humanity as is right now. And so this is deep. Ableism, or the prejudice toward people with disabilities, is so profound and often unconscious that a lot of people, without even realizing it, are working as segregationists or assimilationists, and they haven't really challenged those assumptions. And so we are closer to the beginning of this change and this kind of work than anti-racism work has made a lot of progress. We still have terrible backlash in parts of the country and the world, but has made some progress. Anti-ableism work is at the very beginning, even though it's been going for decades. Working for disabilities inclusion is still close to the beginning. And as an autistic person, I just wanted to share for 1 minute what autism might look like in a classroom. And beyond all this, we'll build on this when we talk about accommodations, but autism might look like someone sitting on the side of the room, staring away, nodding and rocking. And the teacher might think that person is checked out, that person is having an anxiety attack, that person is about to go off, and might even fear the person or disregard the person. And that would be untrue. An autistic person might sit in the front row, raise their hand for every question, smile with a big smile, and want to participate constantly and answer every question and talk for too long. And the teacher might think, oh, that person, what do they think of themselves? They just won't give anyone else a chance to think, to speak. And that is another way autism can look. It can also look like someone with kind of a sour look like this, concentrating, looking at the teacher and saying, no, I think you've contradicted yourself. No, I think you're wrong. I totally disagree with that. And the teacher might think, this person is antagonistic, they're hostile, they dislike me, they're judging me, and might become to fear and dislike the autistic. And all of these frames are misunderstood. They're all misunderstandings of autism. And autism can also look like someone who just seems very shy, but who every so often gets up and runs out of class. And they won't know what to do with that. So autism is only one example of a disability that can be so easily misunderstood. And there are areas of physical accommodations that we can work with, but I'm also especially interested in inclusion and welcome, true understanding, and a kind of deeper understanding of that inclusion and welcome, so that a person with the disabilities is accommodated, but also welcome, included, pulled in, brought into the center instead of the very edge. So these are some things I've been thinking about that relate.
I love that idea of the sense of belonging, because, you know, when we were talking about this, we were talking about that being part of a pedagogical strategy too, right? I mean, our classroom climate, you know, creating that sense of belonging for every person in the room, with and without disabilities. So one thing I just want to self-disclose, I'm the parent of a child with autism who's also a pediatric cancer survivor. So while I'm not a self-advocate and I don't have a disability of my own to the best that I know, but who knows what I'll find out about myself over a lifetime. I have walked alongside a minor child through his journey as a family advocate, and really in our work at SSD, we really support family advocates in supporting their students as well, right? I mean, I know as faculty, there can be an ick factor with talking to family support, right? A parent called me, but you know, our disabled students, sometimes they might have a parent who's helping them out. You don't have to be fully independent to be a good student if you're a person living with a disability. Like my son, he just started at Berkeley 3 weeks ago, and he is not fully independent, but he is in Berkeley taking a 16-unit load and the chem and bio support. And both of those things, it's like Nepantla, you know, it's like some of these critical scholarships are really helpful in thinking about this, right? Nepantla is a liminal space where things that don't go together anyways, right? Discrit talks about what Dr.Chad was talking about, that eugenics and oppression filter out exactly across the lines of disparity, but it's the same oppression as it's filtering out across all of these different folks that are experiencing it, right? So I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to hear from you and our folks on Zoom. You know, how often are you finding yourself accommodating, right? I would be surprised if we had a never, but I would love to hear from folks, right? Is it every single class, every term? Is it every term, even if it's not every class? Frequently, sometimes, occasionally, never, right? I mean, this is a universal experience that we have on our campus. We are bound to have students with differences in our classrooms, right? And so then it's how do we bring our best and our amazing knowledge and professionalism and sense of social justice into the work for something that we know is going to be part of the work before we even begin. Right. So this is great, you know, and I'm filled as a parent, I'm filled with a sense of gratitude for everyone who's here at this talk and who's sharing this, right? What I see is that all of you have accommodated thousands of students across your career, right? We've done this at scale. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I'm counting on folks like my faculty colleagues to do that for my son right now. So why it matters, right? Inclusion isn't a nicety, it's a necessity. And that's the truth, right? When inclusion is misunderstood as a bolt-on on the side over here, scary and weird stuff happens. It can't be that one more thing. It has to be the thing before any other things. You know, and when I look at Dr. Chad's work on disability inclusion, one of his quotes really stood out to me, which is, our lives are in perpetual emergence as much as emergency, right? Where it's like, we're all evolving in this work. We all have the opportunity to step into that sense of empowerment. You know, as faculty, we have the opportunity to empower our students, and our students with disabilities, they have the opportunity to really step into and understand themselves, but only if, you know, we bring in that opportunity to really provide this as the top of the to-do, like before the to-do list. Not even the top of the to-do list, it's like before the to-do list. This is just our students of all abilities are worthy of being in our class and learning, and then everything else, right? Because deep down, none of us are here to become millionaires. We're in the wrong place if that's why we're here, right? But we're here to really show up for our students, you know, and this is an area where we can make a really big difference. And I'll share some of the numbers with you on that. Dr. Chad, anything to add?
You're doing great.
All right. All right, I'm going to keep, for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going, right? But so there's an 18% graduation rate for people with disabilities and a 63% graduation rate for the general population. This is a huge disparity. We would be sounding the alarms if it was a fraction of that. So we're either playing a role in perpetuating this, or we're playing a role in perpetuating something better than this. Right, but like we earn these numbers too as faculty, right? 25% of the population is disabled at any given time. I learned this from Dr. Schwartz over in the College of Ed. He talks about this a lot, and he says we all have the opportunity to go in and out of the category of disabled person at various times throughout our own lives, right? And that's something that is, you know, helps to make this more relatable. It's not like, oh, I know a person with a disability over there somewhere. It's like that person could be us one day and then not the next day. By that count, there's about 4,000 people with disabilities on our campus. They're covered by the ADA, whether they're accommodated at SSD or not, right? The ADA covers them either way. So we want to know.
What is the ADA?
The ADA, oh, well, thank you, Dr. Chad. The ADA is the Americans with Disabilities Act. And technically it's the ADA-AA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act as amended. So it was amended in the 2000s, it was created in the 1990s. That's how recent civil rights law is for people with disabilities. That's wild.
So it's illegal to discriminate.
It is, but also
or to deny access.
So it, you know, I'm not law enforcement, right? And it is a civil law, right? So what I want to, you know, really try to stay focused on is that how we can like rise to the occasion to be our best, right? Because it's not me who goes like, I'm going to tell you, you can't do this, but it's also like, how can we rise to the occasion? How can we do better than that 18% graduation rate? Like we can help people at scale, right? So we have 2,000 people with SSD. So we only have about half who actually we know what their accommodations are, or even that they know their own accommodations, right? So this is an enormous disparity that, as Dr. Chad is talking about, oppression and eugenics and segregation and being anti-ableist, right? We have the opportunity to be anti-ableist at scale, like in our own backyard. And that's something I gave back my sabbatical this year to be here in this work because I believe in it so much, you know, and I really believe our students are worth it. So what is a faculty inclusion fellow? That's what I am this year, right? So I'm the first one in all of the Cal State system. So hopefully there'll be more Dr.Jesses in the future. That would be the coolest thing ever. And I will hustle every single day for this effort and this collaboration, right? It's a collaboration with all of you. I provide professional development. Ideally, that's 99.9% of my job. Developing college level liaisons for disability inclusion. So hopefully in all of your respective colleges, you'll have your own Dr.Jess. I'm a giant policy nerd. I read the ADA literally every single day when I was at SSD last term. I've read the executive orders every single day when I was at SSD last term. I'm working on developing a neurodiversity identity center, research grants, all that good stuff. I'm jamming through this because I want to make sure you have questions, but accommodation letters. It is your opportunity for daily disability inclusion and anti-ableism, right? Here's what how this happens. You get a notification. It flows from SSD to faculty, right? So SSD is HIPAA protected. We're FERPA. They're HIPAA. So I know it might feel like a black box sometimes, but they are the keepers of the medical information, right? They don't flow the medical information to us. They flow the FERPA information.
So as a teacher, we don't know what we don't necessarily know what disability they have.
No.
And that protects their confidentiality.
Correct, because there is so much of a disparity and a stigma.
There's a stigma.
There can be, right? Or students sometimes can have the fear that they could face a stigma, right? So they want that confidentiality. To the best of my knowledge, my son is not walking up to his professors yet and going, "Hey, what's up? I'm Royce. I'm a person with autism." But all, even though he's open, he's not. There's that asymmetrical power dynamic, right? So more information might be disclosed by the student or it might not be, but either way, as faculty, we get the FERPA information, right? And as faculty, we can always engage with SSD, you know, by all means, please give it a shot to engage with SSD with an open mind and an open heart. Give us a chance to rise to the occasion too, but we can engage, right? Sometimes students sign voluntary releases where more information could be shared. Right, but their FERPA information flows to us as faculty. Their HIPAA information only lives at SSD unless they choose for it to flow farther, right? And there might be names or words or terms that you don't know on the accommodation letter. Please ask, right? Please click through the links. There's lots of good, you know, I'm here every day. You can call me, you can text me, you can do whatever you want. I will answer for you. But I think that one of the important things to know is how the accommodations get made, right? Because it can feel like a black box sometimes, right? Accommodations get made, and this is from the EOs and the ADA and all the stuff out there. It's an interactive process, so right. So it is a long, granular, thick, rich, descriptive, interactive process with a disability counselor. Right, where that disability counselor gets at functional limitations. So they're understanding like, well, for this student to be in your class or your class or your class, what gets in the way of them performing in the way that they see themselves performing at the level they want to be performing at, right? What about their disability might separate them from the same access as everyone else unless we accommodate it, right? So using autism as an example, like if we have an autistic student who needs to be able to stand up and move around, right? Without the accommodation, and we have this as an accommodation, right? Anything could be an accommodation. If it's, I need a fake plant next to me, if that's really my functional limitation that for whatever reason, then there you go. Anything could be an accommodation. But we do have one where that student can stand up and move even when other students are seated.
Can I give one example of how I used to see this function? I had one student with autism who liked to sit in the far right back chair. and she would come to the classroom and look in. If she was a little bit late, she would peek in, and if someone was sitting in her chair, she would go home. And then tell me she couldn't come in. And I was heartbroken because I didn't understand ahead of time that I need to keep that chair open. And so this is an example, it's very real. A person can have so much anxiety that they really need to sit in their spot against the wall or against the corner or right in the middle, because they need to block all sound and light. So they sit right front middle. And these sensory needs can be so different, and you wouldn't necessarily know it as a teacher. And I've seen teachers not understand it and think it's laziness or the students just being finicky or something, and deny these basic requests. And that's where we have to be really thoughtful. And whether we know a person needs an accommodation or not, we can always be just more thoughtful about the possibility that when they say, I need to sit in the back corner, it's not because they're hiding and doing homework from some other class, it's because they need to feel safe back in the corner or by the door. So I've really learned a seating arrangement can be a very big deal for people. And that's just one small example, but I think it's one that's visible that we can really understand.
Yeah, and get them with us. If there's something that you're noticing, you may notice something about your students before anyone else does, right? We want to have that conversation with you so that way we can support you and support the student, right? But we really, it's like all of the laws and policies and all that stuff, it really is the floor, it's not the ceiling, right? And so I think about how can we get ourselves not only at the floor and know what the floor is, but maybe an inch above the floor or an inch or 2 inches above the floor, right? Or what is the ceiling, right? And so there are really useful policies and they're linked at the end about what including our disabled students is on campus, and then how to be doing the including and accommodating. And I would love to have any of those conversations with you. We do have resources about what the accommodations are, but I made this for all of you. There's one on the desk. This is a really common question that we get. And so folks ask, well, what's needed from me when I see this on my accommodation letter, right? And this is a little bit of that UDL for faculty kind of thing, because everyone wants a different amount of information when they want it, how they want it, when they want it. So I'm here to provide all of it, all the ways I possibly can. But one of these is, okay, so if it says priority reg, how do I give someone? You don't, it's fine. SSD takes care of it, right? Student works independently with SSD. It doesn't really have anything to do with us in our classroom. Right? If it's a testing contract or extended time on testing or extension for assignments, we're going to need a little bit of like active collaboration and engagement with all of you, because only you can update your Canvas, right? Only you can say, yes, this really is allowed for everyone in the test, or no, this really isn't allowed for anyone in the test, right? So if everyone already gets a calculator and the student comes and tests with us, we're not going to know that everyone gets a calculator and so they get a calculator unless you tell us on the testing contract, right? Because we're not in class with you. Your class is your class, right?
So sometimes a student might have a 1.5 time or double time for a test.
Correct.
And that's hard to do if you have a 1 hour class and a 1 hour test.
Yeah.
So you can make an alternate arrengement.
Yeah. So
there's always a way, right? There's always a way.
This is like one of the biggest takeaways. Thank you, Dr. Chad. We can collaborate with you to dream up a solution to anything that comes up. I've had a conversation with so many of my faculty colleagues, and every single one of your classes is unique, right? And so there's always a way to figure something out. You know, you use a certain kind of ruler, cool. You want words blacked out of a dictionary, cool. I have personally blacked words out of a dictionary before. You know, you are doing something where you're making videos in real time and they need to be captioned. Great, I will get you connected with the people who are doing that on this campus and they will turn it around. You use colored pieces of paper, great. I can make you colored pieces of paper. There is anything and everything that I can offer out of the SSD office. I'm in there 100 times a day, every day. And I'm just here to help with that flow from their student affairs office. They're not us, I'm us. You're me. We're all faculty affairs together.
So you're a whole extra level that's been created for faculty to come to, and you understand us so much because you're faculty.
Yeah,
That's why this is so huge, this new position they made.
I feel like you're giving like a.
No, it's amazing. It's like a dream come true.
Well, and hopefully it's just the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's the point. So this can help decode what you might see on your accommodations
Right.
letters, right? If it's something to set up before class, I have students with front of the class seating, right? In a room like this, it wouldn't be an issue. In a packed room, I talked to my students, I went, hey, I'm gonna put out business cards before you get there. And then you know to sit in the seat with the
Mhm.
business cards, right? So sometimes it takes a minute before class. A minute, it's just a minute, right? We can be anti-ableist for a minute, it's okay,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes an accommodation needs to come into class with the student. They have a
Mhm.
service dog,
Mhm, mhm,
please don't kick out their service dog,
mhm.
right? I
Or
mean,
service person.
yeah,
Sometimes they need
absolutely,
help going to the bathroom or just someone right there with them.
exactly,
And they have to sit too.
yeah,
And where will they be?
Right.
And that's sometimes in group work, that can be an issue.
yeah,
We have to really think about including that person nearby.
absolutely, right? And this is a collaboration with all of you, right? I mean, if so that's called a personal care attendant. If the PCA is like watching videos really loud or popping off, or there's something, just come talk to us, right?
Mhm.
We will collaborate with you. I'm not saying that would happen, but I'm just saying anything
It
could
can
happen.
No, sometimes happen. They're just people.
But we're your partner in making your classroom how you envision it in the most anti-ableist way that you also envision it, right? So I wanted to share this from my own research. This is from the words of an accommodated student. And so we talked to folks, and our accommodated students were the teachers in this instance, right? And we had them come and talk with our study participants. And one of the teachers, the accommodated student, he said, having teachers like this teacher around is such an honor, and I will never forget him. And I hope he realizes how much he's helped me. And I also hope I taught him something about being autistic. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's the best, right? And that's all of us. Every day that we do this, someone's feeling this way about us. Right. So we're going to chat for a second and have Q&A, but also in your classrooms, right? Being able to talk about accommodations, great. You need to, have these conversations with your students. Hey, SST is a really helpful place. I think there might be something going on. And like, can I walk over there with you? Can I introduce you to my friend, disability counselor, Dr.Jess, whoever? Sure.
Do you think sometimes professors are afraid to engage with topics of disability, like we're almost embarrassed? So we avoid it.
I mean,
like the elephant in the room.
We're the drivers of our ship, right? So it's only weird if we make it weird. But sometimes if we don't also happen to talk about disability all the time, like me and Dr.Chad, sometimes like the gears grind a little bit at first, right? And so just kind of feeling comfortable, even if this is only a conversation that comes up once a year. I think it can be really helpful, right? Like there's no shame in talking about it. You have a lot of students come out to you. Would you be willing to share a little bit about that? Like in terms of having you talk with folks?
This is amazing to me. Right now, I have 5 autistic students out of 80 total students. And none of them are actually registered with SSD because in high school, they were bullied and stigmatized for autism. So they are so afraid of being stigmatized again that they don't go to SSD. But when I announce on the first day that I have autism, and I'm proud of it, they all come to me and say, I have autism too. And they're all so different that it's amazing how different they can be. And yet they're wonderful. And they thrive in the class as long as they start to feel welcome and accepted. And sometimes it's about social skills. They accidentally offend people, or people think they're weird, or they try to make a joke and it lands flat, or someone gets insulted. It's all tone issues and subtle social issues that lead to them being isolated. So 5 this semester,
That's amazing.
New students I have never met before who came to me and said, I have autism. And that is amazing. 5 out of 80. So that's the way it works.
Yeah.
And so they may have never come to me, and I might have eventually recognized 3 of them, but 2 of them I wouldn't have ever. So it's not simple at all. But knowing that out there are people with invisible disabilities as well as visible disabilities, just knowing that I have faith that I'm going to be an open person who promotes belonging and welcome and a sense of tolerance and appreciation that creates the kind of glow that makes the class work.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the semester, someone will tell me, guess what? I loved your class. I felt comfortable. And I made friends. And it's the first time I've made friends at school. I've been here for 4 years, and in your class, I made some friends. And hearing that, I think that's our calling. I think that's good pedagogy too. It's not separate. The social sense of welcome is not separate from good pedagogy, because when that's happening, they learn well and they love their schooling and they do their homework and everything else works out too. Anyways,
love
little
that.
aside,
No,
I
it's so
talk too
important.
much.
No, because
I'm
like
trying not to.
I do too, so we share this in common.
You do.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and like do a quick mention of a couple of things. So you may have special circumstances in your classes. If you do, I really extra want to talk with you and collaborate with you, right? All of this becomes even more worthy of talking about and thinking of in advance. If you've got field work or GTAs or I think they call them ISAs in some departments, program coordinators who aren't the faculty of record, et cetera. Team involvement, we will really work with you on that. I'll leave this up as a word cloud as we open things up for a Q&A. And so I'd love to hear, and I'll pull the chat up as well, because there might be questions coming in there. So Dr. Gallego, she says, it's not hurting anyone. Why not err on the side of supporting people? Absolutely, right? This is actually easier than not doing it. I'm serious, right?
Doing the accommodation is easier than not doing
It's much easier.
because then your class goes well. And everyone's happy.
It's an opportunity where sometimes we might have, this might be a prompt to challenge us to be our best too, right? If we're like, man, all these accommodations, I'm bumping into them left and right. Sometimes, so this is what I do myself. I'm not saying all of you need to do this, but sometimes for myself, I go, how could I build my class better? Right?
So you're looking for words in response.
Yes, I'm inviting words in
When I
response.
think disability inclusion, I think of
Yeah,
which words, and we have these 4 already.
we do.
I love this.
Yeah, collaboration, resources, belonging, individuals. Liliana, she said there are some types of accommodations that can be globalized. Absolutely, right? So Liliana is talking about universal design for learning, right? So like step 2 of this is exactly what she's saying, that sometimes the thing that we do that helps one person ultimately really helps all of our students in our class, right? It's like, anyone watch TV with closed captions, right? I always watch TV with closed captions. It's so much better. There are so many mumblers on TV and film. I have no idea what they're saying. And I don't have lots of hearing. I'm like, why are you mumbling? And I watch on closed captions and I get more out of it, but it's not even made for me, you know? And that sometimes is building our courses too, right? When we make it better for one, like it's not a 0-sum game, right? It's like, if you do well, you do well. We all do well together and we all have the opportunity to do well together. The same for our students. We have one of our students do well, everyone in the class does well. And that's like so much of the essence of all of this.
Justice.
Yeah.
I like this.
Humane, compassion.
Individuals.
Yeah.
Understanding. I love this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feeling welcome. Identity first. Language reminds us that the person is complete and whole as they are.
And that's part of why, you know, there's a listening session coming up where we're inviting, because some people say, no, I'm autistic, you know, I am an autistic person. Some people say, no, I am a person with autism, right? My son identifies as a person with autism.
And I'm an autistic person.
Yeah. And both of you get along great.
Don't correct. Yeah. But I like people first language, except if someone says I'm autistic, don't correct them. No, you're a person with autism.
Exactly, right?
So let them self-identify.
Right, and you and Royce get along great.
Oh yeah.
You're not at odds with each other. But you know, and that's part of it too, is having that opportunity where we can listen to each other and hear your questions, and then you know that you have a safe space to ask those questions, right? And one of the things that I'm gonna do is, AJ, if it's okay with you, can I turn off the recording so folks can ask questions without being
Let's do
recorded?
questions.
Yeah,